Ty Bartel in with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we're heading over to the Cortland community, home of the Lakeview Bulldogs. Girls basketball head coach Kevin Haynie joining me tonight. Coach, how are we doing, first and foremost?
Hey, having a good time. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, no problem, Coach. I know you're a big fan of the basketball season as much as we are here on the network. Getting excited, getting geared up for another season of hoops. What are practices looking like for you and the girls right now?
You know what? The best thing is it's highly competitive. We have the girls that are there. It's a dogfight every day. The one thing that's nice is I told the girls every single day you need to fail in here. You need to fail in here. That way you know you're doing something. If you walk out of here and you haven't failed and you're not going hard enough, and it is exciting right now to see. I got a lot of young girls, and it's exciting to see that the fight and the drive and the determination in these girls, and good things are going to come.
When you talk about this team, I mean, obviously the roster may not be finalized right now, but you know some of the impact players that are going to serve on this team this year. Shout out some names this year, kind of a meet the team segment. Who can we expect on the floor this year?
Yeah, you know what? We have 12 girls on the team. I got two seniors, McKenna Warner and Izzy Haynes, 2-year letter winners. Annabelle Humphrey, Mackenzie Stowe, Isabella Eisenberg, Calissa Warner. They all lettered last year as freshmen. So I got 6 returning lettermen, and I got 6 freshmen that they're hungry. I mean, they were off a good team. They were undefeated last year in 8th grade. So you got Paige Swartz, who's looking real good and is going to get a lot of time at the varsity level. Sophie Irwin's playing fantastic right now. I have a daughter, Anna Haynie. She's going to get better and better. And then we have 2 twins, Sammy and Izzy Aravis, who they're scrappy, but they fight. And then Annalise DeGiulio is another freshman who there's not one drop off. Like I got 12 kids and we're going to play some JV, but we're going to all see varsity time. So it's exciting to see these young kids develop.
I mean, that's a lot of girls that are going to be able to get some varsity experience for you this year. And it's girls of different experience levels too, varying coming into this season. When you talk about that then as a whole, what would you say some of the strengths of this team are? And that may change by the end of the season, obviously, but the early on preseason strengths, what do they look like for this squad?
You know what? It's just we're fast, we're aggressive, we're not afraid to make mistakes. And you see that like they're getting after it. We've had some scrimmages that have been intense. We have girls diving on the ground, going after loose balls. Mackenzie Stowe's, she's just a fighter out there. She's all over the court. But the hard part is we got to like tone it down a little bit sometimes. Sometimes we get going too much and then we're a little careless with the ball. So we got to clean that aspect up, but you got to love the amount of effort that these girls are putting in right now.
Let's talk a little bit about this conference that the girls are going to be playing, and it's always tough. NE8, I guess 7 teams in it. You could call it the NE7, whatever. I've heard both variations, but nonetheless, the teams around this conference, they're very tough. They're very competitive. They always bring a challenge. Anyone can beat anyone any given night, is what I always say. What does it look like from your perspective, and what's it going to take for your girls to compete against this tough competition around you?
Yeah, I mean, the girls know it's a dogfight every day. And I would love to say that we can go out there and beat anybody every single, it's nice to say, okay, yeah, let's go beat them. But you have other teams that are good. And you got Poland with Nick out there, does a fantastic job, and back-to-back league champs. Like, you got to beat them before you can start talking that you're up there in that league. And South Range and Struthers, like, just basketball traditions. And then Gerard's got a new coach with Bornemus, and, he's been around. He's been a boys coach, a girls coach. So, it's just going to be a fun season. It's going to be a dogfight every single night. And I think that's the way everybody probably wants it. I don't think Nick wants to go in and say, we're going to beat everybody by 30, 40 points. But we hope to challenge everybody every single night. And you can't just look at that. Oh, we're playing Lakeview. Okay, we don't have to worry about them. So it's going to be a dogfight, and I think it's going to be fun.
Outside of the conference wise too, it always gives you those unique challenges that sometimes maybe the conference doesn't give you. And it gives you a chance to get just different looks for your girls. I like a lot of these teams. They look like a lot of well-coached teams that you guys have put together in the non-conference. Which ones are kind of exciting for you to test your girls against?
Yeah, non-conference, like we still got Howland, and they've taken it to us last year. So that's going to be something it's a challenge. But it doesn't start out easy for us. We play Wednesday before Thanksgiving against Brookfield. They have a new coach. And then we have Thanksgiving. And then that Friday we play champion. And I'm sure that he wants to, he probably doesn't forget about last year. And they're probably real hungry to get us back on schedule and get back into the gym against us. So we start out tough. Then you throw in Ursuline and Harding and Howland and all those teams, Newton Falls, like always well-coached teams. So the non-league is, I think, just as tough as our league, and it's going to be a battle. And that's 22 games are going to be a battle every single night. So we're excited.
When you talked about having the split of the team like you did with some younger girls and then in comparison with the older girls, is there a time period where you kind of have to play kind of catch up and kind of ease the freshman girls into that varsity level? How do like practices look, and do you try to keep things real simple as far as like sets and plays that you guys run early on, or how does that all look for you? Obviously, don't give away too much of the playbook, right? But how do the practices and everything look like for your girls?
Anybody that knows me, we don't ease into it. It's funny because the first couple practice, we just go full court, man on man,
right into it.
Deny. Yeah. And it's, guess what? We're going to come out. We're going to teach you from day one that you got to spend it on defense, and you got to make sure people don't touch the ball, and you got to scrap, and you got to fight. And yeah, there's a learning curve, but you better do it at 100%. And when you make the mistake, you better move on, because we're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes. We're young with 2 seniors, seniors are going to make mistakes, but they're going to move on. Like I keep telling the girls, you miss a shot. Guess what? The next shot's the one that's important. That one's done. Forget about it. Get us the ball back, or get somebody an easy bucket, or get us a turnover, take a charge. So, it's just fun seeing these kids develop, because you've seen the improvement, and we've had a week and a half of practice, 3 scrimmages, and the girls are getting better and they're fighting. I mean, it's fun to be there right now.
I love what you're doing with this program, because I think you're instilling the right things to start getting a standard for Lakeview basketball. And I mean, you got the athletes there. There's plenty of success in the girls' sports there and around you too. So I think you guys have the right environment to set that standard. What are some of the biggest challenges you've encountered in just trying to build that program, build that standard within the program, and how have you overcame them?
Yeah, it's a numbers game, and you would love to say every year you have 5 seniors, 5 juniors, 5 sophomores, 5 freshmen, and it's a feeder that's coming up. But our volleyball is so dominant, and they have 22 kids on the team, and I go in there and I'm like, oh my gosh, look at these juniors are tall, athletic, and I don't have a junior on the roster. And it's like, I understand they love volleyball, but we want to get to where we have 20, 23 kids on the roster, and you're all fighting for a spot. In the years past, we've basically kept everybody that came out, and whether that's fair or not, and some people didn't get playing time. So this year we went with the kids that are just going to play. We're going to give them everything. Kids that show up in the summer and put in the effort, and kids that when they show up to practice, they're going to make everybody around them better.
Talk about all those challenges. What makes it all worth it?
Seeing them get better. And and it might sound stupid, but when we finish up practice and you have 12 kids and then you have 8 or 9 staying after shooting, that means they're enjoying it. That means they're liking where they are. That means they feel themselves getting better, and that motivates them, that they want to work even harder. So when I finish up practice and I go in the office, I'm getting stuff, and I come out and there's still 7, 8 girls shooting, and girls come up and are like, okay, coach, what kind of drill can I do? And I show them, and they're doing that drill for another 10 minutes after practice. And that's after 10, 15 minutes after practice ended. So they're still putting in the time, a half hour into it. And I have kids that are texting me, they're like, coach, we don't have practice today, but can we go in and shoot? Then you're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely are, coach. You're getting that buy-in from the girls, and that's what matters most, no doubt. I know you can't do it on your own too. We always love highlighting the rest of the staff too, because it's a team effort at the top too to make the whole thing go. What's the staff look like around you this year for the Bulldogs?
You know what? We're lucky because this is 3 years in a row we haven't changed anything. Down at the junior high level, like I said, we've had a real good feeder program, and that's Meg Zetterquist and Bill Lewis, and they're phenomenal. Bill loves the game, played at LeBray, coached down in Maryland, and I'm lucky to have him down at the 8th grade. And Meg was a player of mine when I first came here, and that's awesome seeing one of your past players that still want to be part of the program. And then at the high school with Jessica Irwin and Zach Brown, they've been with me from day one. And when I first talked about this job and got offered it, I didn't know what I was going to get and who I could get, but I've been fortunate. I got really good people, and I'm saying good people and good coaches that are in the program.
Well, Coach, one of my final questions for you today, it's kind of a theme I'm doing with all head coaches in and around the area, and it goes back to the love of the sport of basketball. It's what got all of us started. It's what keeps all of us going, no matter our position in it, no matter what we would contribute to the sport each and every year. Where'd that love of the sport start for you? Do you have an earliest memory, or do you have a pinpoint moment?
You know what? I still remember being in junior high, maybe elementary, and we put a hoop up, and my mom would be like, "Don't come in 5 minutes after you guys are fighting." And the brothers, we'd go outside, and sure enough, in 5 minutes, somebody was mad. Somebody fouled somebody. We didn't call it. Someone comes in crying. But we always had pickup games in the yard. People would come over. We'd play basketball. We'd play football. We'd do the old wiffle ball games in the side yard. But it was just playing and just learning to enjoy the game and competing with each other. Like you go back and you think about your childhood, like that was awesome. In the summertime, we would play till it was dark, and then we would go get those spotlights and plug them in and try to shoot them. And anytime you're playing defense, you couldn't see anything because the light's blaring in you, but the offense had the advantage. But yeah, I think that's what you want is these kids that learn to develop that kind of love where it's just going out and having fun with your buddies. Because, we get older, we don't get to do that anymore.
It's definitely the love that got us started, and it's the foundation that keeps us going as well. Coach, I always love the time that you are able to take out of your very busy day to give us a solid preview of this team. I'm excited. We here at YSN are excited to see what the Bulldogs have to offer this year. We're all rooting for you. We're rooting for continued success in this program, and we're hoping to talk to you again real soon.
Right. Appreciate it, guys. Take care of yourselves and have a nice Thanksgiving.
Oh, we will too. You as well, Coach. You as well. This has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with the Lakeview girls basketball head coach, Kevin Haynie.